Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Heffy Doodle video. This is Cassie. Today we're going to be making some gift card holders. They're for Christmas and I'm excited about that. So these are the heart gift card pocket dies. Love that. We're also going to be using something a little bit more non-traditional. We're going to use the You Go Gull stamps and dies, and you can do this with pretty much any stamp you have. Using non-traditional stamps, it can be a lot of fun. We're also going to be using the Classic Sentiments stamp set and then the Wanna Build a Snowman stamps and dies. We just need partial parts of these, and so I'll show you what we're going to be doing. I also have some cardstock from Heffy Doodle. This is the Cherry on Top and Green Bean, and then I'm going to bring in some cornflower later on. But let's go ahead and get started. I went ahead and cut out our pieces that we need to assemble our heart gift card pocket die, or from the die, and then we're going to be using our Heffy Doodle mini die cutting machine. And I knew I would love this machine, but oh my goodness, I mean, look at my plate. I have been using the stew out of this machine. It is amazing. So we're just going to pop out the rest of the pieces that we need. This is just some white cardstock that I have, and this piece is something that you could use on the outside or the inside. I'm also going to be using some scraps of that Cherry on Top and Green Bean cardstock to cut out some hearts. We're going to go with more traditional colors, even though we're using non-traditional stamps. So then I'll do this again with, like I said, the green bean, and then we'll run that through that die cutting machine one more time just to make sure that we get all of our die cuts ready to go. I'll put the die cutting machine off to the side. We will need it later, but next I want to do some stamping, so I'll pull out the little gulls, the little seagulls from You Go Gull, and I'll ink those up a couple times since we're making 2 gift card holders. I picked out the little guys that I wanted, so we're just inking that up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink onto some alcohol marker cardstock that Heffy Doodle carries. And then I want to stamp out the top hat a couple times. That comes from the Wanna Build a Snowman stamp. And then I also need just parts of these images right here. I need their hats. So I'm going to stamp out just the parts I need, and then we can fussy cut what we need off of that. For our super simple Copic coloring, I have some T markers. I'm putting down some T1 to start. That's going to do with my shadowing here on each of my gulls, and then I'll come in with some T3 on their little stripe. My T5 marker is a little bit out of commission right now. It needs a refill, but I don't have it, so we're going to bring in the T7, and then I'm going to use those same markers on the top hat. If you find that you have markers like I have the T7 and the T3 and it's just too dark and it's hard to blend, you can do a tip-to-tip technique. I don't do it here, but I'm just going to blend until I get that to work. But you could, like I said, bring your T3 marker to the tip of your T7 and work it that way. I'm going to use a Y35 for their beaks and their little feet. And then we're going to use some G16 for our greens, G16 and G19. I'm just doing very simple Copic blending, and we're only doing 2 color blends on most things. And then we're using R08 and R27. Those will be our traditional reds and greens that we're going to be using. And then I'll bring in some low lights, and that's our T1 marker on the hat. And then I have to bring in those colors once again for the top hat, the band on the top hat. And I need green, and I also need red because we're trying to color coordinate all the little hats. All right, now we're going to die cut out all of our images, pull out that mini die cutting machine once again. I've tacked down all of their matching dies over the top of each of those images, and you'll even notice I did that with the penguins. I'm doing that just so I can have that perfect white border around the hats on the top, but I will fussy cut out the little, I don't need their faces, so I'll fussy cut those out later on, and you'll see that here in a little bit, you know, that they'll be all cut out and ready to go. One more element that I want on here is some water, since we are dealing with seagulls. So I have some cornflower cardstock, and I'm going to put my Wave to Me stencil right over the top of that, and I do have some residual pixie spray from a previous use, and so we'll just tack that down over the top. We'll bring in a navy ink, and I'm going to blend that in. I'm doing it very lightly, but you'll see once I pull that stencil away, I'll have a beautiful stenciled background, and like I said, I'm inking it subtly, but you'll be able to see that impression, and it's really, really pretty. So I'll just finish doing that, and then I'm going to pull away my stencil. And then I'm also going to pull out the stitched circle dies because I need some circles. That's going to go on the front of our gift card holder. So I love how that looks. It's nice and subtle. And so, like I said, I'll pull out that stitched circle and then we're going to run this through our die cutting machine as well. I do love that so many of the dies that Heffy Doodle carries, and most places actually, will fit through our die cutting machines just nicely, especially this little mini one. And it's a little different than most mini die cutting machines because the plates themselves are about 3 inches, which is a little bit bigger than most of the smaller die cutting machines. So here is part of our pocket, and you just have to assemble that. And all I'm going to use is a little bit of liquid glue to assemble the one piece down to the front. And what you could do is you could glue the sides in as well, but I want this pocket to open entirely so that I can have a little message on the inside, and so I'm not going to glue it closed. What I am going to do is take the one little white piece that I had cut out, and I am going to glue this to the inside, and then I can just place my gift card over the top of it if I want to, but I'm putting that on the inside so that I can write a little tiny message in there if I would like. I will put in a couple of the little images, but you can see off to the side I have all of them almost ready to go. But that's how it closes up. And then we're going to glue down our little circle to the front of our little pocket gift card holder. And these are great. You could assembly line make these if you wanted, and you wouldn't have to go to so intricate with all the little images if you didn't want to, but for me that's part of the fun. All right, I've stamped out my sentiment. Again, that comes from the Classic Sentiments, and then I'm just going to put a little banner edge on the sentiment, kind of seeing where I want our little pieces. And then I'm going to grab out some 3D foam squares for all of the images, except the one that I'm going to put on the inside. So I'll put down lots of little foam tape, foam squares, and I'll do it to our other little guy as well. And then we'll peel off all the release paper on the back of those, and we can stick those down. So now we have some fun dimension on the outside of our gift card holder. What I do like about this is if somebody liked it enough, they could probably find a way to attach some string to it and stick it on the tree somehow. I think that might be neat. I love when you can turn your tags or whatever you have into something that would go as decor as well. I'm going to take the little green hearts, I'm going to tack 2 of those down. And then we're going to flip this over and we'll do the inside. So I've got my one last little guy who's given a little thumbs up. And he also has the top hat on, and we'll glue him down. And then that final little heart will go in the upper left-hand side. And so then I'll close this up, and I like how it has a little heart to keep it closed. Just pops through that little slit, and then you can close it up. For a final bit of embellishment, I do grab out some Something New embellishments that I have. They're little half-back pearls. They look beautiful, and it's almost like they're snow, so I'm just gluing those down with my crystal katana along with some liquid glue. And then once those are on there, that's going to finish off both of these little gift card holders. I love how these turned out. These are so fun. Like I said, you could glue the sides closed if you wanted, but I like that we can open these up. And there you have it. So I hope that gives you some ideas for gift card holders. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.